Better to explain this post-filming, but when it comes to new projects, take highest priority. I'm going to just send out a few emails. I did mention this before in Millennial Money. I never thought I'd be in tech. So today is Thursday and it's my busiest day as UX designer. So I have most of my meetings today and this is my current schedule. So to start off, I have a meeting with marketing. For context, I work for a D2C company, so direct to consumer, and a lot of the projects that I receive come directly from marketing. So I have these meetings once a week on Thursday for 30 to 45 minutes to either discuss new projects, updates on the progress that we're making, gain feedback, and make sure we're aligned throughout the entire process. So I generally know what projects I'll be working on because me, marketing, as well as our project manager all collaborated on a roadmap we did the prior year around November, December. So I do have a bit of context already of what to prepare for, but did want to align on that with marketing once more before we officially start. Turn on my light. Good morning. Right, I see in the roadmap we have this new project. I'm curious, so out of these metrics we talked about last time, which would take highest priority in your opinion? I did already start transferring this into our document and gathering past research. Okay, sounds good. Thank you. Bye. How are you? Now after I just have my one-on-one with my manager where I'm essentially relaying all the information that marketing told me and getting her perspective on things to look out for and other things to keep in mind while starting my project. Told me that there was like a previous project. When you have time, can I grab the link for that past presentation? Yeah, on top and okay, keep that in mind. Take care. Bye. It'd be better to explain this post-filming, but when it comes to new projects, there are typically 6 steps that I take. First is an intake. This is what I've just done, and it's about taking any information you can about the project, say from business requirements, an MVP, contacts, dates, estimates, with a scope to essentially help frame how you can approach the project and what is expected. Second is the research process. So this can vary. There is primary and secondary research, but in practice, it's about doing both. This can involve organizing and conducting primary interviews with target users, secondary research like going through articles from Nielsen Norman, Baymart, or even leveraging any existing past research like slide decks, Figma files done by previous designers or interns for you to build off of for your project. Typically, I would start off with secondary research first to gain a baseline knowledge on that topic, which better informs what kind of questions I can ask for primary interviews. The third step is then taking that data, mostly from your primary interviews, and extracting them into FigJam to gain trends and insights about our users with the problem. Then step 4 is after coming up with those insights, we'd use those to better guide our first set of concept flows before funneling it down to the exact screens. So that if a concept flow makes sense, then I can leverage competitors for visual inspiration to see how those individual screens will look later on. It's at this point where we get a base mockup of those flows that I show this to my manager and the marketing team to get initial feedback to further iterate and consider. 5 is retesting. so, I test with different users with our prototype to get their initial feedback on the designs, and hearing from your users is definitely the most important, and we would adjust our designs accordingly. And then the last step is to update it in our Figma source file and present our findings to stakeholders. This involves everything from finalizing the designs, documenting any next steps, and organizing our process into a slide deck to present to our stakeholders in a more formal presentation later on, usually done in Google Slides. So this process hasn't been too different than what I learned at my bootcamp, so if you're also taking extra online classes, bachelor's or master's for UX, I'm curious if you're learning anything different in school, so let me know in the comments down below.
I'm aware a lot of people my age would probably get a studio apartment or would like to live or family.
Oh my gosh!
I'm like shaking. From the date of signing and officially making the house ours to the time we wanted to move in, we had 10 weeks or so.
10분 전에 올렸는데 벌써 1,000개 넘었어?
나 있었지.
So I did mention this before in Millenial Money, but I used to study fashion design when I was in college, and I eventually decided to switch into tech. I had no idea what I wanted to do for a career back then, and I never thought I'd be in tech. Personally, my major was more focused on graphic design, so the way I was able to switch was taking one of those external boot camps, and I took a gap year to do that. For anyone who was curious, the one I personally took was Springboard. It was about 9 months or so, and that helped me create the portfolio to eventually get my first couple internships as well as transition to my first full-time job. So if anyone else was interested in Springboard, feel free to use my code Sharon Kim for $1,000 off your tuition. And with that said, let's go ahead and make lunch. So finished with lunch, and I won't lie, the days where I work from home, I forget to go out and walk. So I know it's not really good for you to be sitting all the time, so that's why I got a walking pad to at least get my steps in. It works well with my standing desk, and I would do this while I'm checking emails or if I'm in a meeting with my consultant and we're just kind of going over things. What I do love about this walking pad is that it's foldable and it has a compact size. So it's really convenient for me to pull it out whenever. It's a lot easier for me to make sure to get my steps in instead of going outside if I have extra meetings or things I have to do. Well, it does display the amount of steps that you're taking and also times how long you've been walking, so I can count how many steps I got in that day. If you want to purchase this walking pad, you can get a 30% off discount using my link in the description box down below. So now I have another meeting, and this is more of a casual work session and going over things with my UX consultant who's part of the team. We're more discussing how we can, what we thought of the meeting, if there had to start splitting up work, and more talking about the new project that we got on high level terms. What has been really helpful is brain dumping everything that we think into a project brief doc. This is something I actually learned at Amazon, and I think the different ways to go about it can vary and it doesn't have to be the same across, but it's essentially capturing the timeline, any job to-dos, and scoping out with the task for that week or for however many days to keep in track that you make sure you have everything done, because things can get a little crazy during a project, and so it's nice to just write things down even if it's in bullet points. Good, how are you? The first round of testing is done, and right, let me share my screen. I know it could be super confusing. So there's 4 main flows for this, and thank you. Take care. Bye. Now that concludes the end of my final meeting. So I'm going to just send out a few emails, but that wraps up all the meetings that I have today.